Court sets aside steps taken in reinstating Sanusi as Emir. Troops arrest suspected terrorist mastermind of Taraba attacks. Cholera death toll rises to 21. Suspected cases hit 401 Lagos. And on the foreign scene, police fire tear gas, water cannons at anti-tax protesters in Kenya's capital. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. A federal high court sitting in Kano has set aside steps taken in the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. The presiding judge, Justice Abdullahi Liman, held that the state government disobeyed the interim order asking parties to maintain status quo on the implementation of the Kano Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the court did not invalidate the law assented to by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. Here's his report.
It was a rowdy atmosphere after the presiding judge, Justice Abdullahi Liman, ruled that all actions taken by the Kano state government after the signing of the Emirate Council law by Governor Abba Kabir are a nullity. The presiding judge directed that all appointments made after the bill was signed into law are to be set aside, adding that the initial court order directing that the status quo be maintained still stands.
The court has nullified all steps taken after the order is made, and that those steps were taken in breach of the court order, and that is all. Subsequently, the court has granted civil proceedings. Since the matter is before the Court of Appeal, no court can take any further steps until the Court of Appeal determines the case at the appeal before it on the issue of jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, counsels to the applicant as well as that of the dependent confirmed that the ruling has been in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
The second ruling is concerning the application made by the claimant, the plaintiff, I can say, that he wants this court to declare the law legitimately passed by the State House of Assembly, that is Kano State House of Assembly, that is the second respondent, null and void. But this court clearly stated in its ruling that he doesn't have the wherewithal, the jurisdiction and the power to declare a law that's passed legitimately by the State House of Assembly.
According to the applicant, Aminu Babatan Agundi, who addressed journalists shortly after the ruling, the court has proved that the rule of law and indeed Nigeria's justice system are working. He called on the state government to always abide by the court order to avoid future occurrences.
This success is not only for me or for the Emir, but for the entire people of Kano. I am sure all of you are in Kano, you live in Kano. 80% of Kano people are not happy with what the governor and even the House of Assembly has done.
At the moment, the Kano Emirate Repeal Law is still standing, but all actions after the law are null and void by order of the Federal High Court. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Joining me via phone call to shed more light on the matter is Media Trust Northwest Bureau Chief Ahmed Dati. Thank you for joining us on the News Hour tonight.
Good evening and thank you, Chiamaka. Thank you for having me.
So please, can you tell us what is the mood in Kano following the court ruling on Thursday? And of course, what steps have been put in place to prevent any breakdown of law and other?
I would say Kano at the moment remains calm. People are going about their normal businesses. In fact, if you are not at the court or the Emir's Palace or the Nasarawa Palace, you will know that something is at stake. Because basically after the court ruling, armed personnel and DSS and Civil Defense Code were drafted or deployed to the court, quickly disappeared. And vehicular movements and everything resumed as normal. Kano is calm. And residents are largely, hoping that the state will remain peaceful because Kano is a commercial place. Peace is really needed for businesses to thrive. And police just betrayed their code, banning protests, processions, and all kinds of things that are untoward to peace.
Okay, so from the story we read before, that just went before this, we could see that there's some sort of confusion. So it says that the interpretation of the order, now it does not clearly reverse the reinstallation of the Emir Sanusi. So can you throw more light on it?
Yeah, there are different interpretations of the court ruling. In fact, just the Attorney General of Kano State, Haruna Issa Dedere, issued a statement saying that by virtue of the order, the 5 emirs and even Emir Bayero remain the host, and Emir Sanusi remains the only emir. But other people or other lawyers are arguing that status quo means that the 5 emirs remain and Sanusi is removed. So different interpretation. But what the court actually said is that all steps taken, after the ascension or after the governor assented to the Emirate Council Repeal Law, set aside. And then it asks parties to maintain status quo. And then the court refused an application moved by the Dan Agundi, the plaintiff in the matter, to declare the law null and void. So the court refused that application. These are the 3 things basically the court has given rulings on, and then people are interpreting them differently depending on which side you are.
So there's a contention on the jurisdiction of the court to hear the matter in the first place. Can you tell us more about this?
The Emirate largely famous acceptance affair, and so the defendants in the matter actually argued that the court lacked jurisdiction to even hear the matter. But the judge, in a ruling, said the combined effect of section 42 and 315 of the Constitution actually gave him jurisdiction. So he assumed jurisdiction and heard the matter and had the matter on the 13th and even on the 14th and then today. So that in between, the defendants went to the Court of Appeal to ask the Court of Appeal to set aside this particular suit on account of lack of jurisdiction by the court. They've cited the case of Tukur, that is the Bola State government, where an emir was removed. Emir of Muri also, I can remember. So that's where we are. All matters are at the few courts now to decide whether the court has jurisdiction or not.
Okay, so I'm going to put 2 questions together to you, and you can just answer it briefly for us in the next 30 seconds. Has the state shed any light on if they're going on appeal? That's one. And what are the political implications of this ruling? Is it likely to result into any political gain for actors across party lines?
Yeah, already the State House of Assembly and the Speaker are already at the appeal court. So they are challenging jurisdiction of the court. And the appeal court will make pronouncement the jurisdiction. So they are at the appeal. And I don't think they are ready to, they are willing to appeal the latest judgment based on the interpretation by the Attorney General of Kano State.
Okay, thank you so much, Malam Dati, for joining us on the News Hour tonight. We'll be speaking with Ahmed Dati, Media Trust Northwest Bureau Chief, on the Kano Emirates tussle. Still staying with Kano, the Kano State government has directed the State Police Commissioner to immediately remove the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, from the mini palace he currently occupies. This followed the Federal High Court ruling which directed the state government to set aside all actions taken after signing the Emirate Council bill into law. Addressing a news conference after the ruling, the State Commissioner for Justice, Haruna Dederi, said by the court ruling it means Emir Muhammad Sanusi II is still the Emir of Kano.
The Kano State Government acknowledges the ruling by the Federal High Court regarding the Kano Emirates Council Repeal Law 2024 and views same as upholding the rule of law. By the ruling of the court, it has unequivocally reaffirmed the validity of the law passed by the Kano State House of Assembly and assented to by His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State on Thursday, the 23rd of May 2024 by 5:10 p.m. This part of the judgment is fundamental to the entire matter. Further implication of the ruling is that all actions done by the government before the emergence of the interim order of the Honorable Court are equally validated. This means that the abolition of the 5 emirates created in 2019 is also validated, and the deposition of the 5 emirs is equally sustained by the Federal High Court. By implication also, this means that Muhammad Sanusi II remains the Emir of Kano. The judge also granted our application for the stay of proceedings until the Court of Appeal deals with the appeal before it on jurisdiction. Happily, the signing of the law and the reinstatement of His Highness the Emir of Kano, Emir Muhammad Sanusi II, were done on the 23rd of May 2024 before the emergence of the interim order, which was served on us May 2024. Following this court's ruling, the Kano State Government has directed the State Commissioner of Police to remove the deposed Emir of the 8 metropolitan local government areas from the government property where he is trespassing, as government has already concluded arrangements for the general reconstruction and renovation of the property, including the demolition and reconstruction of the dilapidated wall fence with immediate effect.
Security matters. Troops of 6th Brigade Nigeria Army in Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke have apprehended a suspected terrorist mastermind who was allegedly responsible for the killing of 5 persons at Mararaban Azagwawa village in Bali local government area of Taraba State. The arrest followed the June 16, 2024 attack that led to the death of 5 people, with several others sustaining varied degrees of injuries. The Acting Assistant Director, 6th Brigade Army Public Relations Officer Oni Olubodunde said this in a press statement detailing the operation that led to the arrest. According to Oni, the suspect has admitted his involvement in the crime and is providing valuable information that could lead to the arrest of his accomplices. Meanwhile, the commander of 6th Brigade Sector 3 OPWS Operation Wellstroke, Brigadier General Kingsley Chidebere Owa, has applauded the public for providing useful information leading to the capture of the suspect. He urged the public to continue supporting the brigade's efforts to eliminate criminal elements in Taraba State. The Nigerian Army Aviation is set to take delivery of 2 fighter aircraft, Bell UH-1H in Abuja. Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, confirmed the expected arrival of the aircraft. In a statement on Thursday, he said the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, will launch the aircraft into operations upon arrival in Nigeria. Lagbaja had in September of 2023 disclosed that the federal government approved the purchase of 12 attack helicopters for the service. According to him, the procurement of the fighter aircraft would help improve the operational capabilities of the Nigerian Army. Over in Katsina State, in recent weeks, farmers in the state have faced several attacks by bandits in areas like Kankara, Yaragoji, Mabai, and the Jibia axis. These attacks have caused hardship among residents, displaced families, denied farmers access to farmlands, and also claimed lives. According to Trust TV's Jamil Mabai, the Katsina state government has begun taking action after much plea from locals for increased security. The report.
In the wake of the recent attacks on farming communities in Katsina State, frontline areas like Ankara, Mabai, and the Jibia axis have all witnessed one form of violence or the other, resulting displacement of families and the loss of lives. We don't know how to farm. All I have is the clothes I'm wearing. They burnt my house, my shop. Even if I went back home, I don't know how I will survive. We need help. We need security presence so we can go to farm. Farmers in these areas who have appealed for increased security are relieved, as their plea seem to have been heard. In response to this plea, the Katsina state government has refurbished over 50 operational vehicles for the Nigerian police force. This much-needed boost in logistics aim to empower security personnel to better safeguard farmers and their communities.
As a matter of fact, all the vehicles were granted, and then 2 brand new trucks, which we've handed over to the police. They are being used as we speak.
The vehicles have been refurbished, and we are in their need of these vehicles, and we most sincerely thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, Dr. Umar Ratna, for his vision that he see it deemed to fix our vehicle due to the current security challenges in the state and in the country. I promised you and assure you here, as this is your president, that the vehicles are certainly going to be put in actual good use and will start.
For residents of these frontline communities, this news offers a glimmer of hope.
Thank you very much.
Observers believe that the presence of a well-equipped security personnel will to a large extent deter bandits' attacks and create a safer environment for agricultural activities. Jamil Mabai, Trust TV, Katsina.
To political matters, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by former Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, and 24 others against the Speaker, Victor Okojombo, and 5 others. The appellate court adjourned after the parties in the suit adopted all their briefs in the matter. At the proceeding that was conducted virtually on Thursday, Amewule and others are asking the court to stay execution of a High Court judgment which saw them out of office. They are also asking for an accelerated hearing in the matter, while contending that the order made by the trial court was without jurisdiction. In their response, Amewule and others prayed the court to dismiss the appeal for lacking in merit because the records of appeal transmitted were incompetent. After listening to the submission of the lawyers in the appeal, the 3-man panel led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Bada reserved the date for judgment to be communicated to parties in the suit. So on the Rivers matter, the Bayero State Governor Doye Diri has called for peace in Rivers State following the political crisis affecting the state. Senator Diri made the call during the 129th Executive Council meeting at the Government House, Yenagua. The governor emphasized that the progress and well-being of the state should be the top priority of all leaders. Diri warned that the ongoing conflict would only result in underdevelopment, also expressed Bayero State's willingness to collaborate with Rivers State to reduce poverty and promote development in the region. He advised parties in the Rivers State political crisis to set aside their differences and work towards the development of the state.
Let me again use this opportunity to call on all the key actors in Rivers State to give peace a chance. Rivers and Bayelsa are one and the same states. And whatever that happens in Rivers State, we are interested. And there must be give and take in that state so that development will not suffer, so that the people will not suffer. let the leadership give peace a chance. And we want to see the same peace that we have in Bayelsa. Let it be also in Rivers State. We want to see peace in Rivers State. We want to collaborate with Rivers State. And so I call on the actors to eschew bitterness, to sheath the sword and give peace a chance.
Over in Ondo State, a state high court sitting in the state capital, Akure, has declared the creation of 33 local council development areas, LCDAs, by the late Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu as unconstitutional and illegal. According to the presiding judge, Justice A.O. Adebusoye, the LCDAs were not lawfully created. Akeredolu had in September of 2023 signed the bill establishing the councils into law after it was passed by the State House of Assembly members after the third reading. The newly created LCDAs are coexisting with the 18 local government areas in the state, bringing the total into 51. Akeredolu was a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, ex-president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and ex-attorney general of Ondo State. This is the news hour on Trust TV. Up ahead. Uncertainty in agriculture sector amid declining investment. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And just joining us. This is the news hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Court sets aside steps taken in reinstating Sanusi as Emir. And we also told you that troops arrest suspected terrorist mastermind of Taraba attacks. Moving on to more stories on health. The special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Health, Kemi Ogunyemi, has said that the number of recorded fatalities as a result of the cholera outbreak in the state has risen to 21 following the last update, which reported 350 suspected cases and 15 fatalities. She also said the number of cholera cases has increased to 401 across Lagos, with Lagos Island, Kosofe, and Etiosa recording the highest numbers. Ogunyemi revealed this on Thursday while providing an update on the outbreak after meeting with members of the Lagos State Public Health Emergency Operations Center. According to her, the rise in cases was anticipated following the Ileya festivities during which large gatherings occurred. She, however, noted that suspected cases are subsidized across local government areas, particularly in previously affected local government areas due to state government interventions and surveillance efforts. Still staying with the cholera outbreak, experts have suggested that better sanitation infrastructure and access to clean water could have significantly mitigated the impact of the outbreak of cholera. Here's the report.
Cholera, a diarrheal disease caused by bacterium Vibrio cholerae, poses significant risk as it spread through contaminated water, food, and person-to-person contact. Poor hygiene exacerbates its transmission, particularly affecting areas near rivers where sanitation practices are inadequate. These health practitioners stress the critical importance of access to clean water at the community level to mitigate the impact of this outbreak.
Generally, cholera is a diarrheal disease, and the culprit involved is Vibrio cholerae. Most likely spread to water, spread to food, person to person, hand to mouth. The major, or the most possible cause or possible way by which this is spread is through poor hygiene. I will note that generally the places affected are places close to all this riverside area, and that is because it is easily transmitted through water. So besides seeing the cases, we were worried, we were concerned. At the time, we were asking them their source of water for cooking, for use at home, where they get their food from. Because these are the possible ways in which individuals could contract the disease condition.
Residents of Lagos are urging the government to take proactive measures to curtail the spread of the disease.
The place I'm coming from, or the place I'm residing, there's no good water there. You know, every building has their own, they provide water for themselves. Okay, they drill boreholes. Okay, they drill boreholes. And those, some have tanks up there. Okay, the whatever, what's it called? They will pump water from that borehole up to that tank. And that tank, those water there are not treated. Okay, so there might be some bacteria that will store in that water. And it's very, very detrimental to human health.
Cholera disease that is ongoing in the country. The government should at least, you know, our health care centers in Nigeria should be able to find a source to disseminate information to the masses. One, and also the masses on their own should also, you know, try to keep a good hygiene, a more good hygiene. And, you know, wash your hands thoroughly, eat proper food, you know, do the proper things you ought to do to avoid this health issue. But in terms of the government have also some duties to perform here by going to the health centers or other health organizations to provide necessary medications to fight against this illness, you understand? And also to enlighten people about it.
Residents are calling on the government to provide essential medications to health centers and educate the public about preventive measures against the illness.
Still staying with the outbreak, Nigeria is currently in a race against time to contain the cholera epidemic, with the current outbreak claiming the lives of over 30 persons across 30 states in the country, according to data from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Experts in the public health sector have called on governments at all levels and citizens alike to detect the drivers of the infection, urgently provide access to high-standard water and sanitation facilities to communities to curb the disease outbreak and face out its subsequent recurrence. Asha Salehu completes the report.
Cholera, an acute diarrheal infection caused by ingestion of food or water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholera, is a recurring disease in Nigeria, which recorded its first appearance in 1972. Since then, intermittent outbreaks have occurred, with a severe outbreak surfacing in 2010 and leaving in its wake a trail of about 3,000 cases and 781 deaths. Another outbreak was recorded in 2020, which escalated to several parts of the country for most of 2021. Despite being preventable and easily treatable, children continue to suffer from the potentially fatal disease. The reason for this is not far-fetched, according to experts.
As long as the population continues to grow, we continue to build and urbanize and also expand housing without addressing sanitation, without addressing water supply to homes, then there is still that risk of having these outbreaks of cholera from time to time.
While many Nigerians lament poor access to potable water sources and sanitation facilities in a bid to curb environmental pollution, they, however, try within their means to keep safe and healthy.
We have borehole, and that's what we use basically for cleaning, for cooking, and we take seaway, the one on the dispenser. Yeah, so that's what to do. And then I ensure that my kids wash their hands after going to using the restroom. And by the time I get back from the market, I ensure I wash my hands.
People should make sure that they keep their environment clean, and they make sure there's no stagnant water around the vicinity where they're staying, because these are the things that can also lead to this cholera. And again, the kind of water they use in the drink and they use in cooking, if they are not sure of the safety, the purity of the water, they can boil it.
My water access is tap pipe water, tap borne, and we'll make sure our environments are clean, and especially cooking with clean water is another thing. Since cholera, the easiest way to contact it is through waterborne disease.
I don't just take water anyhow. Sometimes when I go out, if I find out that the location I am, the water may not be good for my person, I just have to wait till I get to a location where I know I can buy water. And some persons might also believe that bottled water is actually the best. It may not be the best because there are some persons, some individuals that are dubious in their business. They can look for the empty can and pour water in it. So one also have to be mindful of that.
With the rainy season in full swing and fears of possible contamination, there are calls for more awareness on prevention strategies.
People must wash the things they eat, then as much as possible, cook what you eat. This is not the time to experiment with raw food because you don't know where or how it was prepared, where it was prepared or how it was prepared. And the major drivers of transmission for cholera is still food and waterborne. So it's still from food sources and water sources.
Although Nigeria is said to have the capacity to diagnose and treat cases, curbing the disease goes beyond the healthcare system.
For every outbreak, there are predictors of the outbreak. So for instance, in the country today, the moment with the economic situation, you have hyperinflation and a situation whereby access to water, potable drinking water, has become more and more expensive. The way they are able to process this water that they get from maybe rainfall or from other sources, surface water sources, etc., well water and all that, may be where we have some of the contamination and infection that is leading to the outbreaks.
Stakeholders say government at all levels must set up early warning mechanisms to identify potential hotspots and regularly provide situation updates to the population while intensifying mitigation plans and community surveillance measures. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
According to a February 14 data released today by the International Labour Organization ILO, Save the Children and UNICEF, no fewer than 1.4 billion children around the world, especially those in third world countries, lack access to basic needs of life due to the unavailability of these needs. These children, most of whom are from Africa and resident in rural communities, become vulnerable, with many being recruited by criminals. To address some of these challenges, the 2024 International Day of African Child this year is focusing on how children can have access to quality education. Yusuf Akogu tells us more.
The International Day of the African Child, also known as the Day of the African Child, is celebrated on June 16 every year in honor of those who participated in the Soweto Uprising in 1976. This year's celebration with the theme Education for All African Children. The time is now resonate with Nigeria due to the continued increase in the number of out-of-school children across the country. Civil society organizations say with proper legislations concerning education, the number of out-of-school children will be drastically reduced.
We believe that there is gap in early education in Nigeria. If you look at it, apart from primary school, other educational levels are completely privatized in Nigeria. And that is even the call at the level of African Union. How do we have a framework that incorporates even younger people before they get into primary? Because it's the responsibility of government to educate its people. And therefore, education is a fundamental right. And this is why this day is very important.
For teachers, the importance of education cannot be overemphasized as they called on parents to make the education of their wards a top priority.
A child will not just be born to come to the world and decide not to go to school. I think that the major challenges we have, it's maybe coming from the parents who don't have, and then they just decide the children should just stay at home, help them go to farm, help them in their businesses and all that.
Children, however, say the day is a reminder that education for all African children is a necessity.
We need to be educated, and honestly, I don't really like the fact that other children are not in school.
This program is actually a good example, showing us that education is not only for the modern ones, but showing us that education is for everyone in total.
Government at all levels were admonished to ensure that basic education, that is the right of every child, gets proper funding as provided by law.
Let me use this opportunity to call on all stakeholders to consider education as a necessity. A collective input to continue building an Africa we will be proud of.
In Section 2, the aspirations and prescriptions of Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution is so that the primary basic education is compulsory and free, and therefore At the national level, they have all these unity schools and other, but you know education is in concurrently, and state and local government have primary jurisdiction. But for intervention's sake, the federal government has also created the UBEC, UBEM, and all these suburb and what have you. But you see, this is a laudable decision and policy of government, but how is it being implemented effectively?
The occasion also provided opportunity for children to have fun with various cultural displays. Yusuf Akugu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Indeed, every child deserves quality education. Now over in Adamawa State, Governor Umaru Fintiri has issued a stern warning to his appointees against engaging in corrupt practices, asserting that such behavior is unacceptable in his administration. Governor Fintiri delivered this message while presiding over the swearing-in ceremony for the chairmen and members of various commissions, boards and agencies. Gibson Saldigo tells us more.
To the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution.
The banquet hall of Government House in Yola, the capital of Adamawa State, was filled with family, friends, and associates of the newly appointed chairman and members of commissions, boards, and agencies for their official inauguration. Addressing the gathering, Governor Umaru Fintiri reminded the new appointees that their selection was based on integrity, capacity, loyalty, and pedigree. He emphasized that the work ahead is substantial and the tasks are clear, reaffirming his administration's commitment to addressing the economic challenges facing the people.
I charge you to come up with an innovative contribution to help alleviate this suffering. As you begin your tenure, remember that corruption has no place in our government. Transparency and accountability are non-negotiable. Any form of corruption will not be tolerated.
Responding on behalf of the newly sworn-in appointees, Musa Kaiwo expressed gratitude to the governor for entrusting them with the opportunity to contribute to the state's development. He praised the governor's purposeful leadership, which he credited with transforming Adamawa, and pledged their loyalty and commitment to the Fintiri-led administration.
I also like to thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor, for carefully selecting us to be part of this team or movement to work for the people of Adamawa State.
The Fresh Air Governor of Adamawa State has restated his commitment to actualize his campaign manifesto of delivering the dividends of democracy to the people. Gibson Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
We go to Lagos State, where traders of Bayero market in Agege have appealed to the state government to expedite action on the construction of the Akerele Road. The ongoing construction, they say, is disrupting their business and posing a threat to their survival. Here's the report.
The ongoing expansion of Akerele Onuwa Road in the Agege area of Lagos State appears to be on hold. In early January 2024, the Agege local government chairman Ganiyu Kola Egunjobi initiated the road expansion with a target completion date of 6 months. Although significant progress has been made with the completion of the drainage system, the project is seen to be delayed due to few store buildings situated along the drainage path. At the entrance of the street is an old 2-story building on the left side that has been partially demolished by the contractors, leaving the occupants displaced, while the interior is now filled with various types of debris, emitting false odors.
I think it's because of that building at that junction, and then another building on the down of the market. I think the two buildings is disturbing them to do the work quickly. That can help us to do the road in time, can help us to make our business improve. What is doing this work is because of the two buildings. One is there and the down one. The two buildings there is doing the work. When they have finished the gutters, that's what is laying the road. If they can destroy or demolish the house, that too has to hasten the construction of the road. Because this road has been for a long, more than 20-30 years that they abandoned it. But thank God he has come to our streets to do the job. But one thing I know very well is that by the special grace of God, very soon the job will be completed. And pertaining the houses that has been demolished, maybe the chairman has not settled them, I don't know yet. But immediately they settle, the house will be left out and the road will be completed.
There is a particular building disturbing the construction of the road. But the building is at the entrance while the second one is at the other entrance. That the building has caused delay. I don't know what make the building to cause delay. Maybe the delay is from the local government or from the from those that are constructing it. I don't know what made that delay to come. But I know that the building is the major problem for now.
Some traders who craved anonymity commended the road expansion initiative and urged the contractors to expedite action on the job.
There was a little challenges, of course, while building the gutters, because there are some buildings that are affected. So we have to see those people and tell them, mark the places, and begin to schedule how they are going to come about to dig the gutter. So there are some challenges in that area, the buildings that were affected.
Ajeboriyogbon traders believe that completing the road expansion project will improve the flow of their businesses and customer traffic.
For quite some time now, the problem of insecurity across many parts of Nigeria has continued to affect agricultural production, effectively linked to food shortages and threats to other sectors of the economy. In this special report, Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at insecurity's impact on crop production and livestock farming in northern Nigeria. Here's his report.
As competition for land and water continues to intensify, long decade of violence between farmers and herders worsen across many parts of northern Nigeria. Farmers are still trying to come to terms with this effect on crop production. You can see these cattle on this open grazing area, but there is no food. That is how we are roaming about the bush every now and then. All the grazing reserve areas have either been converted to farms or have been vandalized. There is absolutely no place where we can go and graze our animals. That is why every day we are having conflict between us and the farmers. Because we don't have choice. These are animals and you must feed them. Apart from farmer-herders conflicts, the problem of modern farming techniques, fertilizer, seeds and insecticide have continued to threaten crop production and livestock production. The situation many farmers believed to have worsened the problem of food insecurity in Nigeria.
Gaskiya muna fama da yanayi na rayuwa da yake komai ya riga ya sauya.
You see, we cannot be able to produce enough food for Nigeria. This farm that you are seeing belongs to me, but I have loaned it to somebody. That person is paying me to now work on this farm for him, because we, the local farmers, we don't have money to buy fertilizer. We don't have money to buy insecticide. We don't have money to even take care of the farm. So how do you expect us to cultivate? We can't even cultivate even what we will feed our family, talk less of to sell outside to other people. Across many parts of northern Nigeria, farmers at this time head back to the farm for this year's wheat season farming. At the same time, herders are struggling to feed their animals, effectively creating rivalries between the two similar people.
When you talk of insecurity, you are telling us that there's no, the farmers, not only the farmers, almost everybody would have no time, would have no, what do you call it, to concentration on whatever activity you are doing. So the effect of insecurity on farming means that there's going to be less food, because farmers will not be able to cultivate their farms, and therefore there will be less food. There is going to be inflation. There's going to be absence of, let me say, food security.
The implication of this, according to experts, is that Nigeria is threatened by the inability to produce enough food for the populace, even as dairy and livestock farmers struggle to meet their challenge.
If the government will intensify the effort, at the same time make a vigorous advocacy, awareness to formalize the informal process of milk collection, milk production in Nigeria at large. There is enormous number of volume of raw milk that can be harnessed, collect, and utilized to feed this nation.
Although several government policies, including intervention in the agricultural sector, are expected to take effect, farmers believe that unless farmer-herders conflicts are resolved, fertilizer is subsidized, and modern farming techniques become sufficient, the future of crop production and livestock production in Nigeria may likely continue to remain bleak. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kanu.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. It's now time for business with Yusuf Akogo.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The average price of premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, rose by 223.21% to approximately 770 naira per litre in May 2024 from 238 naira per litre recorded in the corresponding period of 2023. The National Bureau of Statistics Premium Motor Spirits Price Watch for May 2024 said on a month-on-month basis an increase of 9.75% was recorded from 701.24% per litre in April 2024. According to the report, Jigawa State topped the price chart at 937 naira per litre, followed by Ondo and Benue State with 882.67 naira per litre and 882.22 naira per litre respectively. Lagos, Niger, and Kwara States emerged with the lowest average retail price for the product at 636 naira, 642 naira, and 645 naira per litre respectively. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPC) and Total Energies will invest $550 million to develop a gas processing facility in Rivers State to boost export and domestic supplies. According to the report, the investment will include a gas processing plant and a pipeline. The NNPC said a formal announcement of the project will be made this week. Reports say the gas processing facility will be built on the Ubeta onshore gas field jointly owned by Total and NNPC and will supply gas to the Nigerian liquefied natural gas plant. When completed, the plant will generate 350 million standard cubic feet per day of gas and 10,000 barrels per day of associated liquids. The Nigeria's equities market closed Thursday trade in red due to profit taken in medium-capped equities. Let's see how it went down today. The losing equities, the regalings, topping the table there, down 8.51% to close at 43 kobo per share. Lasako, an insurance company, down 6.05% to close at 2 naira and 2 kobo per share. Of course, NEM Insurance down 5.76% to close at 9 naira per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market downward there by 0.08%. The volume of trade 1.299 billion. Volume of shares were traded today, very huge one, you say, valued at 25.236 billion naira in a deal of 8,364 did exchanges among investors this Thursday. Of course, the top trading equities at the close of business today are FBNH, First Bank of Nigeria, holding there 871.08 million, 8% as well to close at 89 kobo per share. Of course, Royal X also there 9.84% to close at 67 kobo per share there. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Thursday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil futures see 7-week high on Thursday as fresh data on cooling U.S. jobs market added to hopes that the Federal Reserve could still cut interest rates this year. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $85 per barrel. For the petrol basket, the price moves up to $83 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf, for business. Now away from Nigeria, In Kenya, riot police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse thousands of demonstrators in Nairobi on Thursday as coordinated marches took place across Kenya against government plans to raise $2.7 billion in additional taxes to reduce the budget deficit. Spraying people with purple-colored water from water cannons, police sought to clear protesters in Nairobi's central business district and block their path to parliament. It was not clear while police used as the demonstration appeared peaceful. The Kenyan Red Cross Nairobi branch said on X that it attended to 8 injured people from the protest but did not give more details on the nature of injuries. Now, a parliamentary panel urged the government on Tuesday to scrap some new taxes proposed in its finance bill, including new ones on car ownership, bread, cooking oil, and financial transactions. It's time for sports with Adini Ajishafe.
President of Nigerian Football Federation, Ibrahim Musa Guzo, has disclosed that the federation is committed to ensuring that the beach soccer national team, known as Super Sand Eagles, enjoy the same attention as other national teams when restored to international competitions. The NFL president made the pledge at the inauguration of the federation's futsal and big soccer subcommittee at the NFL Secretariat at Abuja. The Super Sand Eagles brought honor to Nigeria at various times in the past, winning Big Soccer African Cup of Nations in 2007 and 2009. The team also represented Africa at the FIFA Big Soccer World Cup, including reaching the quarterfinals in Ravenna, Italy in 2011 before losing to Brazil in overtime. The NFL pulled the team out of international competitions 5 years ago after high-score losses at the FIFA Big Soccer World Cup in Paraguay. Nigerian Football Federation Executive Committee member Otwegon Ise Essien is the committee's chairman, with chairman of chairman Ahmed Yusuf as vice chairman. Members are Honorable Suleiman Yahaya Kwande, former NFF Executive Committee member and Chairman Plateau State FA, veteran journalist Ichaj Diaka, Aminu Mohamed Inua, Liamid Gafar, Chairman of Lagos State FA, Yabagi Alaji Baba, Vice Chairman of Niger State FA, while Abubakar Umar Braude is the Secretary.
That says about our package of News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, documentaries and programs, we will to follow us on all our social media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Chama Kantwa. Don't forget to keep yourself and environment clean and please stay safe. Good night.